Hey everybody, welcome to Handyman Dan. Today I'm going to be changing out my old thermostat with the new Google Nest. My gas provider for the house, they had a promotion where they were offering $200 off if you bought a Google Nest. So instead of it being $250, it cost us $50 plus tax. So I couldn't let that deal pass up, so I went ahead and took it. I was a little intimidated because I had never changed out a thermostat before. I don't have a lot of experience with wiring, things like that. So the first thing I did was I hopped on YouTube. I looked at some other people to see what they did, their tips and their tricks, and just got some advice off them. And then I read a whole bunch of articles online. And I feel pretty confident now that I have a handle on it, and I want to document how I do it, and if I make any mistakes, then hopefully you can learn from me and not follow in my footsteps. So let's get started. This is my original thermostat. It's by a brand called White Rogers. First step would be to pop off the cover, and inside you'll see some Duracell batteries which power the display. The display is just, as you would probably know since you've used a thermostat before, it controls the temperature up and down, it has time on it, things like that. You can program it. Now the new one, the Google Nest, it no longer takes batteries. It is powered on by these wires over here. Now, not every single home will have all the same wires. Mine only has a total of 4 wires here, 4 different colors. The Nest is supposed to use 5, but they do say in the documentation that you can get away with only using 4. But I read a whole bunch of horror stories of people's systems that start acting kind of funny after some time, and it turns out it's because they don't have the 5th wire. I'll get into what all the wires are in a few minutes, but I just wanted to let you know that this could be the case for you guys. After you take it off, you might only have 4 wires. Now, sometimes if you take these screws out and take the whole unit off the wall, the cable inside might have the extra wires just coiled up around it. Maybe they weren't being used at the moment, but I already cheated. I went ahead and I took it off prior to making the video, and I only have 4. So first, let me show you guys what all the wires do, and then I will tell you the solution that I'm going to do. If you open up your HVAC unit, you'll see a circuit board with a bunch of wires going to it. These wires are attached to the board with screws. Right next to each of the screws will be a bunch of letters: W, Y, G, R, and C. On the thermostat side, you will see another circuit board. It will have the same letters marked on it. It should also have some additional letters, but for now, we're not going to worry about those. In between the HVAC system and the thermostat is a long cable that goes throughout your house. This goes through the walls, through your floorboards, all the way up to the thermostat. Inside that cable are a bunch of wires. Depending on what kind of cable they ran, there could be 4 wires inside, 5 wires, maybe even 8. It's important to note that each of those individual wires are exactly the same. They're all made out of copper. There's nothing different about them. The only difference is the outside color of the sheathing. Typically, the HVAC installer should adhere to a color code on the circuit boards. Each of these letters corresponds to a different color. W is white, Y is yellow, G is green, R is red, and then the only oddball is the C. This one could be blue or black. However, since each of these wires are essentially the same, the installer, in theory, could have put any color into any position. He could have made this one green, this one blue, this one black. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that they are the same on both sides. So W would be the same color here, and W would be the same color there, and so on and so on. So since they could, in theory, have changed the color codes up, you always want to double check that they're the same on both sides. Not that you just watch a video or read an article and then think that Y is always yellow, G is always green, because it might not be. So definitely check before you start. What do all of these letters mean? So W, regardless of color, the actual W part on the circuit board stands for the heater. Y stands for the compressor, which is also known as the air conditioner. G is for the fan. That's the fan that you could turn on a thermostat just to circulate air around the house. Red is the hot wire. Voltage flows into R, and then it goes out to either the air conditioner or the heater whenever it requests power. C stands for common. This is the common wire. This one is continuously on, so always on. Anything that is connected to the C will always have power going to it. So it's recommended to have the C wire connected to the Nest to always to always have its display turned on. As mentioned earlier, the Nest does not use individual batteries like the old thermostat used to use. It has an internal battery instead. Since it's connected to Wi-Fi and always monitoring your location to best regulate temperature in the house, it would drain that battery pretty quickly. If it did not have a C wire to keep it powered, it could use the other 4 wires to charge its internal battery, but that would make the heater or air conditioner kick on and off all throughout the day, which could cause some funky issues. So all that's to say that if you can connect the C wire, just do it. You'll save yourself a lot of troubleshooting headaches in the future. But however, as I mentioned earlier, in my house, the cable that's ran from the HVAC to the thermostat only has 4 wires. So I can't just connect the C wire. I'll have to come up with a different solution. So what could I do? I could either buy a special adapter to make a 5th wire, but that costs money and then I'll have to drill a couple holes, and I don't want to get into all that. I could also buy a whole new cable to run through the house, but that could get pretty expensive pretty quickly depending on how far my HVAC is to my thermostat. The wire isn't exactly cheap. It could be $50 to $100, and I don't want to do that. And then not only that, but then I have to do all the manual labor of pulling a new cable throughout the whole house. So if I can avoid that, I will. Instead, I'm going to remove this G wire altogether from the thermostat side. So as I mentioned earlier, G is for the fan. That just blows air through the house if I wanted to turn it on. But I never have used that feature, so I'm not going to miss it if I remove it. So I'm going to take it out of the equation on the thermostat side. On the HVAC side, I'm going to remove it from G and actually move it down to C. So now my green wire is now going to be attached to the C. As I mentioned earlier, whatever you do on one side has to match up on the other. So I'm going to remove the green wire from here and connect it to here. So now this one here will be the green wire. Okay. Now the only other problem I'm going to run into is that the air conditioner needs the fan as well. So since I no longer have anything here, I'll have to make a little jumper wire to go from G to Y. Luckily for me, my old thermostat had a jumper wire already here, which the Nest no longer needs. So I'm just going to reuse it on this side. In my case, it's a small little red wire. Okay. Your next step is to take a picture of what it looks like now. Just in case you ever need to backtrack and put it back the way it was. That way you don't scratch your head and say, oh crap, what did it look like? So zoom on in, take a picture. Okay. Then the next step will be to go to wherever the HVAC is in your house and turn off the emergency switch. All right, here is my HVAC system. And here is the off switch. It's behind this. There you go. All right. This cable here, this brown one here, goes all the way upstairs to the thermostat. So let's open this up. So here is the circuit board. Here's all the different letters I was mentioning earlier. Y, W, R, G, C. So I turned this off, and I also went to my circuit breaker panel and I turned off my air conditioner unit. I don't feel like getting zapped. I don't know if I need to do it or not, but you know, better safe than sorry, right? So what do we have here? This is the brown wire that I said came through here, right? That's the thermostat wire, thermostat cable. And in it, you will see 4 cables: blue, green, red, and white. Now, I remember up at my thermostat, I did not have a blue cable. I'm sorry, a blue wire. So that's a little odd. So let me go and troubleshoot that. I wonder if this cable somewhere along the way is cut, and then maybe it gets reattached to a different cable. So let me go trace this cable out through the wall. Surprise, surprise. So here is that brown cable. Look at that. Goes to another brown cable. And here they change it. So there's my white, red, yellowish one, and blue. And there goes yellow, green, red, white. Look at that. So remember how I was saying earlier that the colors don't matter? It just depends on where you put them, as long as they match up on both sides. Here's a perfect example. So I have these colors on the one side, but they don't match on the other. All right, so you can't just go based off of the color, because you could mess something up. So always double check. And it's a good thing I took that picture, because after I stopped recording, I double checked that and I said, wait a minute, this definitely doesn't match up. So perfect example. Okay, back at it. All right, so the blue goes to Y, and I know upstairs there's a Y. A yellow in the Y. And there's another cable here, which has a white and a red. And this red goes over to the common. So I know that Y is for the compressor, which I mentioned earlier. So that means it's the air conditioner. So one goes there and the other one goes to the always on power, right? There's a black cable here that's plugged in here and then into R. R is, I guess, the heater power, I guess, or some kind of power. And this cable goes here. Where does this go? Oh, okay, it goes to my air filter. I don't know why it's powered. I have no idea. I think I'll be researching that later on, but whatever. So it is what it is. So I no longer want a G, right? So I'm going to move the G over to the common. And then I guess it's okay to hook up more than one cable into the same one. I don't know if I should pigtail this or if I should just leave it the way it is. I think I'll just leave it the way it is and see what happens. And then G is going to go over to the common, which is over here, all the way on the right-hand side. tighten it back up. Nika's not down here, Alex. I think she's upstairs, okay? You want to sit next to me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Here?
Yeah, you can sit right next to me, okay?
Right there.
Well, not right here. I need a little bit of room.
Right here?
Yeah, sure. Alright, so now you're playing Mario?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so now I have to connect a little jumper cable from G over to Y.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it, Alex.
What doing?
Oops, that's a little too far. Here we go.
What doing? What doing?
I'm hooking up a new thermostat. Do you want to help me?
Yeah.
Can you turn this screwdriver for me?
Sure.
All the way to the right. This way. Yeah, this one right here. Good job, you did it.
Thank you.
High five, man. My partner. You want to say hi to everybody?
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
You having fun?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I see.
All right, hold on, Alex. I'll show you in a minute. All right, so everything here is hooked up. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing upstairs, and hook the Nest up, and then we'll come back down here and turn everything on, and hopefully everything works. Don't touch, buddy. Don't touch. All right, let's go back upstairs, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we're back at the thermostat. So let's start taking this off. I'm gonna stretch them out.
Hey, Daddy.
That way when I pull the whole thermostat off, it'll go through this hole. All right, so got all of them out. Straighten them out so they can come out easy. Now I just have to unscrew this from the wall.